What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Brothers, I really want to have a serious conversation about Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant. Now, you guys know how I feel about the brother personally. Jamal Harrison Bryant's personal life will not be on trial today because what I'd like to do, family, is to just deal with concepts. And so often I believe in social media rebuttals, we are always talking about the person and not the idea. So for that reason today, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to deal with what he's talking about. Now, just like Obama, brother Jamal Harrison Bryant, or should I correctly call him Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, made this particular statement against black men.
You said something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister.
Yeah. Full stop.
And Mordecai was man enough to know that in order for me to be a man, I got to know how to support a woman. Something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister. It was a sister that raised you. It was a sister that taught you how to read. It was a sister that taught you how to bathe yourself.
In the context of the vice president, were you trying to send a message?
That we've got to be able to vote that misogyny is still real in our community. We've got to address it head on and not act like it doesn't exist. The reality is if black men had voted, Stacey Abrams would be a governor. And so I think that we've got to do some real redress that after racism, the biggest ill in America is sexism. And I think it's part of the responsibility of this generation to deal with it head on.
You said something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister.
Yeah. Full stop.
And Mordecai was man enough to know that in order for me to be a man, I got to know how to support a woman. Something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister. It was a sister that raised you. It was a sister that taught you how to read. It was a sister that taught you how to bathe yourself.
In the context of the vice president, were you trying to send a message?
We've got to be able to vote that misogyny is still real in our community. We've got to address it head on and not act like it doesn't exist. The reality is if black men had voted, Stacey Abrams would be a governor. And so I think that we've got to do some real redress that after racism, the biggest ill in America is sexism. And I think it's part of the responsibility of this generation to deal with it head on.
All right, and that is the clip that I am really dealing with there. I believe that most of you brothers heard what he had to say and in the direction that he's talking about or taking the conversation in, which is he's saying you black men are the second worst thing in American culture to racism. And then he starts talking about all of the things that black women have done for you or what black women have done for us. And now this is our treatment towards them. Let me first say this because obviously, I was raised by my mother largely. And, I had some people in my life like my grandfather, my father was there and everything like that. But I'd like to say this, family. I appreciate the women, the black women that were in my life. I have not always felt like this, okay? There are times where I didn't. But I'm appreciative of the black women that were in my life. I could talk about Miss B across the street. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, her. There was a lot of women that was at my church. The first lady that I talked to when I wanted to be a pharmacist at that time was a black woman that tried to help me out. So I cannot deny the fact that black women have positively happened in my life. I would be a liar to say that that's not true. However, Reverend Jamal Harrison Bryant, that is not on trial today. And I think this is where we have to start to delineate concepts And we are not talking about the fact that we don't appreciate what black women have done or have not done, or what they did, whether they gave us $1 million or stole it. I'm not talking about that. What black men are upset about is, what are the things that we shall receive for our vote? And Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, who went to, I believe, Duke University for a Master's Divinity school, you went to Morehouse, you understand value. You understand effort. You clearly understand that. And so when somebody doesn't want to give you value or effort, they go into shaming you, okay? If you want to say the two biggest problems in America are racism and misogyny, I'll give you a third one. Lying, conflating ideas, being dishonest, which is actually number one. Black men have consistently been decreasing their votes for the Democratic Party outside of Kamala Harris. And I want to prove that in this clip. Okay? Now, the reason why I did that, so that you can't say that, black men are being misogynistic here. No. Black men have been decreasing their vote since 2008 with the Democratic Party every election cycle, which shows me that it has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. It has everything to do with the party, and it has everything to do with what they've seen from the Democratic Party for the last, 4 years, and what they feel like they will not get. I think that black men can see things are changing for them in a direction that they don't appreciate. I believe they can see that black men are not really okay with the migrant crisis, and for whatever other considerations that these black men have that the Democratic Party has not competed for. And again, I liken this analogy to Apple. Not the fruit, the company. Apple is a great company. Why is Apple a great company? Because Apple is willing to compete every year for the services of its consumers. Every year when you go to Apple, what do you see? Just go into a store. I have been to many nice restaurants around the world. I stayed one time in Luxembourg. Luxembourg is one of my favorite cities in the world. And I went to a very nice restaurant. I spent a lot of money staying over there that night. It was very, very nice. And the service that I got at that restaurant was quite decent. I must be honest. But do you know what, family? Do you know what? The services that I actually received from Apple by just going on and checking my phone in the store is better. If you guys go to Apple, okay? If you go to Apple, you will be treated in Apple as if you're at a 5-star restaurant. The service is incredible. It is mind-blowing. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Hey, hello, sir. How are you? What are you coming in here for? And almost every day of the week, at least when I lived in America, Apple Store was completely busy every single time. Okay? That's how Apple rocks. Because they're competing for the services of their consumers. Now, that's somebody who wants to give you value for your money. The issue is, Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, what gives for the party that you represent to giving black men that same level of value? And then we can leave out all the other stuff that we're not talking about here for the discussion, which is you black men are misogynistic, and you know this is why you're doing X, Y, and Z, which completely covers up the issues that these guys have, which you're not willing to deal with, which obviously may not be a major issue based on what we've talked about here today. And it's just being dishonest, and you're a preacher. How can you lie? How can you lie? And this is the fundamental problem that we continue to have here in Black America when it comes to talking about black men. I just think that completely we need to remove the black man versus the black woman arguments and things like that. And look, get straight to the point, okay? This is not about black men hating black women or disagreeing with them or anything. Let's get to the point, and then we're going to find out what the issues really are. So, guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Dude Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe with the bell. We're out.